Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. Every now and then, developers, CEOs, bigwigs, producers, actors, and the like have this epiphany, and they come out and talk about why this product failed, or that product failed, or why one game was a failure over another, an absolute, complete, and total catastrophic failure. And we're talking about Dragon Age the Veilguard, and the CEO of Electronic Arts has figured it all out. He knows better than you. Over here at that Park Place, M. Montanaro. Almost got that wrong. I'll get it wrong later. EA CEO attempts to explain away Dragon Age the Veilguard's failure. Oh, don't worry. We all know why it failed. From beginning, the lovely, lovely marketing that surrounded that game from the very beginning all the way past the character creator into the oh-so-lovely dialogue. But hey, the CEO knows better than you, right? Claims game didn't sell due to lack of live service elements. Good Lord have mercy. No mention of divisive identity politics because that would be admitting defeat, ladies and gentlemen. It failed because of a lack of live service elements. My goodness, is this where we are in the game industry? If it doesn't have a live service element, heaven forbid you just make a good game. Make it fun first, fucker. Electronic Arts CEO Andrew Wilson has finally addressed the disaster that is Dragon Age the Veilguard, but his response was out of touch. That sounds like an understatement of the month so far. We're getting a lot of those lately. As one might expect, instead of acknowledging the real reasons behind the game, shoddy gameplay, boring combat system, almost 100% linear storyline, narrative that betrayed the franchise's roots, and an overbearing focus from the very beginning, from all the marketing, focus on identity politics. There's a little something we're tired of. I've said it numerous times. You'd be surprised, and I believe there's a little game out there right now that, that is proving my point. If you make the game fun first, work on the gameplay, the story, the world building, the characters, make those interesting, make those fun. You'd be surprised at what some would consider ideological nonsense in there, weaved in and out. You'd be surprised at what gamers will tolerate if the game is fun. Because honestly, what it boils down to, sure, we're not interested in you pushing your nonsense over us over and over again, shoving it down our throats, proverbially, smashing in the face with your lecturing dialogue, I'm non-binary, and pulling a barv. When you don't do those things, weave in your little check boxes into the world, make them make sense, make it organic. We don't have a problem with that for the most part. You could probably get a successful game off your hands. On your hands? You'd have a successful game on your hands. We'll go with that one. However, when you focus on, I don't know, vitiligo and top surgery scars in your character generator, while taking away some other little risque options that a bunch of the male gamers and even the female gamers out there do tend to enjoy, even if it's just for a laugh, then you get what you deserve when you're pushing nonsensical dialogue, using modern day, real world dialogue tropes and sayings in your fantasy game. You're doomed to failure. Wilson has instead blamed the lack of live service elements because that is just the direction that these studios want to go in. Thank you, Fortnite. Thank you to GTA 5 and your shark cards and your skins and your just live service model. While yes, highly successful for them because they know how to play the game. If you haven't done it before and you try to dip your little tippy toes into the live service model without having a clue with what you're doing, well, you should expect to fail. And that's exactly what Dragon Age Veilguard did. During EA's Q3 2025 earnings conference call, Wilson lamented the company's financial struggles. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. People didn't like your game. They didn't buy your game. They weren't interested in your nonsense, so they moved on. Because you forgot, again, I'll never get tired of saying this. Hope you don't get tired of hearing it. You forgot a very basic rule when it comes to entertainment. Make it fun first. Pointing to the underperformance of both EA Sports FC, I think that's their football, soccer here in the United States, and the Veilguard. He admitted that the Veilguard engaged, that is such a lovely word. I think I talked about that in another video, engaged around 1.5 million players, a number that fell short of by nearly 50% of EA's expectation. Well, he didn't say, the article says it right here, never actually said that it sold 1.5 million, just that the game engaged with that many people, meaning that people checked it out on whatever EA's little subscription model is. Critical distinction that suggests EA is playing with its numbers. No, say it ain't so. Trying to cook the books, so to speak, for their investors to make it look a lot better than it actually is. However could they think of doing that? Instead of confronting the real reason the Veilguard's failure, with, shit writing, shit story, shit world, Wilson is shifting the blame, because that's what you do as a CEO, to a supposed lack of shared world features and deeper engagement mechanics. Corporate speak for this game should have been a live service cash grab. It would have failed even harder than that if they would have gone, if that's even possible, honestly, instead of a single-player RPG. You wanted to take Dragon Age franchise and turn it into a live service game. I believe that it's been all but confirmed through multiple sources that Veilguard was originally going to be a live service game. And in the middle of everything, they brought in, I think that was around the time that they brought in Corrine Bush to further destroy it, and just taking down a different path of destruction. Turning it into a live service game, trying to turn it into a game. I believe that's wasn't that what happened with Dead Space 3. The first two of those games were met with praise and popularity, and then third one came out, had microtransaction after microtransaction, or what was it? I guess the predatory transactions of, you can make this faster, you can craft this item faster, or gather these items faster if you pay a little hard-earned money. Terrible business model. It would be nice if one day we just get away from those completely. Unless, again, you send me a free-to-play game with cosmetics that are not pay-to-win, we can talk. Definitely can talk. In just the last year alone, 2 high-profile live service games, one of them didn't even get off the ground, that leaned as heavily into identity politics as the Veilguard failed in spectacular fashion, which makes me so very happy. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League as well as Concord. Concord crashed and burned almost immediately, but Suicide Squad, they tried to keep that going. They wanted that one to go for multiple years, and I believe it barely even went a year, crashing and burning so hard that I was able to get the $100 deluxe edition for $5. No, I haven't installed it yet. No, I haven't played it yet. It's just there in case I ever want it. It was only $5. How do you pass that up? I believe Yellow Flash was gifting it to people for $3 a pop. He is an evil bastard. Both Suicide Squad, read that already, crashed and burned despite leaning into those shared world features. It's almost like, with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the issues behind there was the disrespect, the absolute disrespect that they had to the heroes involved in the game, to the Justice League. Everyone knew the title of the game is Kill the Justice League, so everyone knew it was going to happen. It wasn't that you killed him, it was how you went about doing it. The dialogue, the disrespect, especially to Batman, was met with, a resounding closing of wallets. Nobody was playing it. Barely anyone bought it. And of course, that was around the time when the good old Gamergate 2 started, and Sweet Baby started spreading their stench all across the industry. People sniffed it out, people found out about it, and shut their wallets tight. And did one of the smartest things that I always recommend people to do. Wait for the reviews. Wait for someone you trust to talk about the game. Shut your wallet tight and do not pre-order. Don't fall for the nonsense anymore. And I'm happy to see that more and more gamers, at least so far, that's what it looks like. I praise each and every one of you for doing so. Let some idiot like me play it day one and see what we do, what we think. See for yourself. Watch. Let's go back to the days of watching the first couple of hours of a Let's Play. Instead of the, copied, cropped, pasted, pushed together reviews from the bought and paid for shills. Trust me when I say nobody's going to pay me. Nobody in their right mind would pay me to review a game. So, hey, I can only be honest, which is getting me into a little hot water right now. But anyway. And of course, Concord, we saw also that Concord was a $40 game. released into a free-to-play atmosphere, free-to-play environment. What could have possibly gone wrong? Something that they, I believe to this day, refuse to acknowledge. It's no mystery Dragon Age Veilguard flopped, even despite the fact that they don't want to release the actual numbers of sales. It wasn't because it lacked live service mechanics. No, it wasn't. But because, as many have pointed out, it was a fundamentally broken game. Now, I will disagree with that. The one praise that I will give that numerous people I've talked to in my personal life that played the game, one of them actually liked it. I question him all the time. The game ran perfectly fine for me, ran perfectly fine for them. Didn't crash, no real bugs for me on my part, and I've been seeing that across multiple different reviews. And that's about where the praise stopped. The writing, the progression, the pacing, just flat out bad. Low quality gameplay, generic art direction, writing that felt more like an ideological lecture, that right there, than a compelling fantasy narrative, because Tosh was the most absolutely insufferable character that I had the displeasure to encounter, and I only played it for 22 hours, I believe. I will not play it again. Under the leadership of Corrine Bush, who has been so wonderfully to move on to the video games division of Skeleton Key over at Wizards of the Coast. Can't wait to see the slop they put out. And John Epler, the Veilguard, abandoned what made Dragon Age special in the first place. Yeah, deep player-driven storytelling and morally complex characters. You couldn't even be obnoxious to the other companions in the Veilguard. I wonder what the message they were trying to push there. You must play the game like we want to, which in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when you have other Dragon Age games where companions will argue with each other because they have different views, constantly arguing with each other to the point where you risk one of them leaving your party if you don't do the right things. That is what people were hoping for, and that's not even close to what people got. Deep, player-driven storytelling, morally complex characters that defined previous entries were replaced with shallow, preachy writing and a focus on gender ideology over actual world building. It was one lecture after another after another. I watched a few gameplays, I watched a few highlights, and if anything else, if there was one single thing, one single character that ruined any sort of goodwill for this game, it is Tosh right there. Tosh's dialogue and story and everything, the pulling a barf, the they, them, I'm non-binary, going away so hard and fast to what the Kunari were in previous games. People, well, they took offense and they voted with their wallet, shutting them tight and walking away. That can happen to any game across the board. I promote this all the time, and I said it before and I'll say it again. Vote with your wallet, wait for reviews, do not pre-order. The fact, no one should be surprised about this. Explaining away the failure of Dragon Age Veilguard, not even coming close to acknowledging what the problems that players actually had with this game. We were quite vocal. It's no surprise. Passing off the blame, and of course, blaming other people, but whatever, what do I know? That's all I've got for this one. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Are we going to see more of this moving forward? CEOs making excuses, passing the blame on other people, on the wrong people, on YouTubers for their content and whatnot. And the failing upward, of course, that we always see in the gaming industry when someone leaves a job or gets fired from a job, they get promoted somewhere else. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I repeat myself, leave a like, leave a dislike, to all those nifty little things that YouTube is begging you to do. And I do desperately hope to see you on the next one. Have a good one.